The Iran nuclear deal nearly didn't happen. The deadline for agreement was extended several times, and then followed 17 days of non-stop negotiations in Vienna. But finally, on July 14, 2015, a deal was done. And over a decade of sanctions, threats of war and a potentially nuclear-armed Iran all receded. Countries that signed the deal have been stressing recently what has been achieved in the last 2 years. Before the deal, they argue that Iran had 19,000 centrifuges running, 8,000 kilograms of low-enriched uranium, a nearly active heavy water plant, a stockpile of weapons-grade uranium, and an estimated breakout time to make a nuclear weapon was estimated at just 2 months. And now, after the deal, well, Iran has given up 2/3 of its centrifuges, shipped out 95% of all uranium, and has a 300-kilogram limit for uranium for 15 years. It's also destroyed a heavy water plant and now has an estimated breakout time to make a nuclear weapon of 12 months or more. It's also subject to 25 years of inspections.
Frankly, that deal is an embarrassment to the United States, and I don't think you've heard the last of it.
As president and as a candidate, Donald Trump said he would scrap the Iran deal. He and some advisors, but not all, believe it does not go far enough. They want to include limits on Iran's ballistic missile program, which were not included in the deal. They also believe that Iran has been given too much sanctions relief too early in the life of the deal and continues to meddle in the Middle East against US interests in Syria, Iraq and Yemen and beyond. But the nuclear deal was never designed to tackle Tehran on these other issues. Trying to expand the nuclear deal now, argue its backers, would fail and release Iran from its obligations, actually harming US security interests. It would also signal to allies and adversaries alike that the US is willing to break its word and go back on yet another international agreement. Meanwhile, Iran says Washington isn't fully complying with the deal either, accusing the US of dragging its feet on lifting sanctions, returning frozen assets and putting obstacles in the way of businesses that are inking deals with Iran, like aircraft giant Boeing. Decertifying the Iran nuclear deal doesn't necessarily mean it's dead. It'll be up to the US Congress to decide whether to reimpose sanctions on Iran. But it creates a degree of uncertainty for a deal that was difficult to make in the first place and now for the US is difficult to keep. Nathan King, CGTN, Washington.